went through some kind of onboarding thing.
Oh, I dismissed that. I was like, I
Got
don't need directions.
yeah, I got oh yeah, just went well, whatever, you know.
Whatever.
And I'm now on the Agent Tommel thing, but any guidance from there would
Oh,
be
sorry.
helpful.
No, right, an onboarding. Yeah, okay. So where we're at is I got yeah, jokes aside, I'm actually really good. Uh the pace of improvement is pretty good,
Yeah,
and the stability seems outstanding. Really, it also feels quite permanent. Like the paper you sent over about the
yeah, the
um,
local minima workaround.
well,
Um,
the what were they
well,
calling
it's
it?
not
The
workaround, but the Hoggles golden something.
that yeah, that wasn't Huxley's evolutionary metaphor. That is not what I was excited about.
Mm.
The thing is, there appears to be a lot of research going on about how you manage self improving agents.
Mm.
And, like 2 years ago, a self improving agent would have sounded like science fiction, but, we observe small, crappy versions of it every day in our system where it's like the machine is figuring out how to improve itself over time. And so
Yeah,
the next accelerant seems to be if we can capture all the little improvements and even run them in, like, 10 parallel 10 concurrent agents, and then extract all the little improvements that each one found, and then run another 10 where you've seeded them with the small lessons learned. Then, who really cares if it burns a couple $100 worth of tokens overnight just to get a really high quality result the next day?
yeah,
So
exactly. That was the thing I was impressed by this paper. Because if you imagine an improvement tree,
mm,
traditionally, you're going to go into level one. What's the best? Okay, let's iterate on that, and then get
yeah,
10
so
lessons, then go with that.
the essential
But
structure
they
seems to
don't. Sorry, go on.
be that they convert the life cycle of the agent into a small number of um, s- state transitions. And
Yes.
so, and what they're trying to do is say which the state transitions were not known in advance. At each point, there was more than one state transition. And so the key is trying to box up what the options are at each point so that you can explore different avenues.
That's it.
And yeah, and how you convert your long horizon task into a state machine, I think, is the unlock here and the art. Because if you use so the work I've been doing in the last 2 days on figuring out how to do workflows, there's three options. The first one is there's a range of step function slash state machine slash workflow description languages that are tried and tested in cloud operations, like
Mm.
AWS step functions. They've sort of publicized the language used for that. The
Mm.
Cloud Native Foundation has another step function, or basically a cloud workflow language where you can describe tasks that have to jump between whole virtual machines or whole services. And so
Mhm.
they naturally account for things like failover and retry and observability, where you got to look at something that runs across multiple machines and all that, right? So that's all good. But what what seems to be the other end of the spectrum is if you take something like MongoDB or a state chart, right?
Mm.
State charts, you could argue you could use a state chart as a form of agent process description.
Mhm.
It would work, but then the lacking of both those systems is being able to handle large amounts of fan out and fan in, and that
Yeah.
like that they are workflows that are designed to be linear in their.
That's exactly what I'm saying. It's almost like no node left behind. It's like that was a dead end node. And it's like, no, it's not a dead end node. Let's get the AI to decide.
No. That's what you say is true, but there's another dimension of fan out. You're talking about the possibility fan out, where
Hmm.
a decision needed to be made, and you want to explore all possible or a large number of possible solutions. But there's also the fan out where the job requires fanning out. Like for example, if it was translating, say, 100 documents, you would want to fan out across the 100 documents, but then each fanned out agent has a possibility that it could, like, each document's different. So now it has some range of possibilities that it could go through.
Yeah, that's probably not precisely the same, but very similar pattern to the kind of the meta fan out and the runtime fan out.
Well, when you say meta fan out, you're meaning the possibility fan out.
Yes,
The
yeah.
what's the word for that in LLMs, like the log probs?
It's
The
something. Um,
You had a word for it as well, like convergence. Like when you run it lots of times and you get the same result, there wasn't any options. Like,
yes,
but when you run it a
yes.
lot and you had like 3 different paths out of 10, that
Oh,
means.
that's an interesting thing. I didn't think about this paper in terms of so convergence is the end product of a Monte Carlo like multiple runnings. Let's keep
Correct,
running
correct.
it,
But
and
that's
if you get
that's what
closer
this
and closer
paper
and
is saying.
closer,
That's what this paper is
yeah,
saying is that you're gonna, like, where else would the decisions come from? The decisions have to have come from. Um, oh, you're saying that they come from getting the bot to think about what the decisions are. Is that what you mean?
yeah, yeah,
Oh, but there's also
and
like getting it to.
and retrack back up the tree, back and like check again,
Mm,
check again. We've learned more now further down the tree. Maybe this node that we killed early on was actually onto something
right.
and might
So,
get to a better minima.
what seems to be the problem or the key benchmark that we have to get to is that right now we don't have enough load to saturate the bots that we have. Like, we can afford more bots than we have problems. But
Hmm.
we need to get to a stage where we have more paths to go down than we have money available, because that's really the skill. I
Yeah.
don't. So first of all, we're sitting here and we're like, we got, hand operated bots. Okay, whoop de doo. So is everyone else. But then we're saying, well, we've got this fan out, and now we can do a lot of tasks. But who even cares about that? It's when we can do so many tasks, all of which would be useful, that it exceeds our resource carrying capacity. That's actually the new benchmark for us.
Yeah,
Because
I guess it is, isn't it?
right, because you're like,
But
I am aware of more constructive things to do than I have dollars to spend.
it's like having a computer the brain the size of a planet and asking it to make a cup of coffee. It's like
Yeah,
yeah,
right. It would,
yeah,
like, how rude to ask such a
yeah,
mediocre task, right? But
yeah,
then what you need is to be able to ask it a task that needs a brain the size of the sun, and then get it to think about what to economically choose.
yes.
And that's what this paper starts to touch on, and that was the insight that I got from this paper, is that we need to get to a point where we have more workload than we can afford to do.
That's a good metric.
Yeah. So that workload would be at approximately, at a guess, I would say it would be about 1,000 times the daily workload that we put on it now. And that's assuming that all of the workload is anaerobic, as in we get no return for it. So
Hmm.
our anaerobic load should be 1,000 times what we're burning here.
I quite like the term anaerobic. Yeah.
Well, that's the mode
Um,
that we've been in for the last
yeah.
half a decade.
Yeah. I've after finding this paper, I'll search for others looking at this, and there are a couple other papers that are not nearly as impressive as this, which is why I sent this over. But
Right.
it's been discovered, right?
It's
So
been, well,
your
it
one of
sounds like it
X,
more than been discovered. It must have been around for a while.
well, yeah, yeah, it calls on really quite early algos for AI. I mean, I don't know exactly, but 20, 30 years ago, something like that,
Mm.
and builds on those. So, um, how do we make use of this? Should we make use of this? And importantly, where in the priority list is it?
I think it's pretty high in the priority list
Hmm.
because it gives an idea for a tactic. So I got a lot out of this paper or the summary that you sent me.
Hmm.
And another thing I got out of it was that if we continue to build this platform that we are, then it can house arbitrary configurations. Like we can implement a form of this system, and then
Yeah.
we can point theoretically, because one of the weird things that we've always strived for, but we've never really declared that that's what we're doing, is making the machine able to have the exact equal context as what we have, so it can see everything that we can see. All the machines that I've seen so far treat the human as a separate piece of context to the machinery inside,
Hmm.
whereas we
Hmm.
are jumping straight in there. And, like why I'm falling quickly in love with this interface model is that each agent is a full blown VS Code interface, which is as much context as either human can possibly consume. Like the developer interface is maximal in terms of what I can get at and get out of a machine. Like I can even hook processes and trace them, like debug them,
Hmm. Hmm.
read the live variables. Whereas because in the past this would have been a remote container, me, the human, getting the context of it remotely is typically very bloody hard and irritating.
Hmm.
But and when you take a look at something like Cursor or OpenAI Codex, they don't make their interface that you consume be the same as the container that's doing the work. And that's a very crucial difference, I think, one that was hard for us to put in place, but we're saying there's really no difference between a human in the system and an agent. It's really just a case of permissions, not fundamental capabilities.
Yeah. 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 Absolutely. We've been talking about that for a while. It's
Yeah,
really useful on this side. Really useful to think about the human as another agent,
yeah,
and um, the context is as shared.
yeah. So where is this in the
Um,
priority? I think the goal is we got to get these foundations right. They feel like they're very, very close. Like really, in the scheme of things, it was like version one, here you go, and then version two is, oh, we need threads, and I need to make the protocol be a bit more concise, and then that's and here's this overkill web UI that does everything, um, and
but we can
then
skim that at any point, so that's fine for now.
I don't think well, that's the point, right? If we're not confused about who we're building this for, then this is I a couple of times today forgot that I was not on my local machine because I started working on this machine, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I can also install it locally from the web browser, and
Why
now
would you
I
want to
am,
do that? Why would you want to do that?
well, because it gives me all the local stuff. Like I can pin it to the taskbar,
Oh, and stuff like that.
and I
Okay,
can get rid of the URL bar.
all right.
And now you wouldn't know really that this wasn't VS Code, right?
Yeah.
So I nearly forgot, right? And that's kind of my point. Like I feel incredibly close. Like I've got, you can't see it, but over here I've got the Quest browser loaded up with this same interface. And I feel incredibly close to being able to ditch my computer. I'm like, I just need a browser.
Hmm.
And then what?
I'm liking the whole browser thing because it takes quite a lot of fiddling around with your local drive, and it's like, where am I going to store this? Am I going to remember where it is? I'm going to
Mm,
get back to it. That
mm,
sort of thing just goes
mm.
away. It's like now I know where to go.
Yeah, and the agent or any agent has full control and access of all of it anyway. So even when you get lost, you can just sort of gesture in its direction.
Yeah, yeah, precisely.
While we're on the topic of the trajectories for self-improving agents, um, I realized why, like, you often say to me, is this a waste of time if AGI comes? Similar, like I paraphrased, obviously, but
Yeah, yeah,
why I think, and I used to get frustrated by that because I'm like, dude, when it arrives, it's gonna land as agents. It's not gonna land as one mega agent.
yeah.
But I think that the reason why it's tempting or easy to think of it like that is because while I was working on the workflows today, I noticed that the same interface that the GPT series of things gave us, which was like text in, some thinking back, and then a result, is exactly how a team of 1,000 agents who were evolving as they went would look. And so
Well,
that
yeah,
same interaction interface is what makes it easy to imagine that pure AGI is just this one thing solving it all. But it's gonna be this type of system under the hood, but it will of course look like just one system.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And no, I agree. We were talking yesterday about nobody really wants to know what a carburetor is if you just want to drive from A to B.
Yeah,
And the presentation layer is under the hood, black box when you use it, not architecting it, because you need to, pop the bonnet and have a look when you're building the thing. But when you're using it, may well look like AGI. And there's a good chance that there is an architecture right now that will get so damn close to
yeah,
AGI that
yeah.
makes
I'd
no
say so.
difference.
I'd say so. I'd say so. And I think that architecture can be realized upon our platform because our platform is malleable enough that we can kind of implement any type of thing so long as the core means the core paradigm of artificial intelligence being delivered is tokens, a stream of tokens. So long as it's that stream, we're good to go with this platform. As soon as it becomes something else, I don't know what else it would be, but as soon as it's not that, then like because there's questions that say, well, is the universe actually linear or sequential? Like, of all the
Mm-hmm.
events happening in the universe, are they all happening in serial, just like incredibly damn fast? And that's the thing with tokens, right? Tokens aren't parallel. You can have concurrent, sure, but that's not changing the paradigm that each agent has a single stream of tokens coming out that's serial.
Well, not to get too philosophical about it, but uh, as I understand it, the current thought is the universe is massively parallel, but the second law of thermodynamics mean that it's perceived as always serial.
Perceived as serial, right? So
Yeah,
basically, God is a token factory,
yeah, yeah. It's
one
like
massive
you
stream.
know, and every quantum event massively parallel, emerging into a serial thing that can literally only be seen as serial. You can't go back. You can go, you know.
And
to
but
go
you can't.
forward,
But
but
yeah,
you
but there's
cannot go
also
back.
there's also no two things at once.
What do you mean by that?
Well, no events happen at the same time.
From the perception of each person in it, yes.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, to come back to our practicalities, I do believe that this model of a platform will survive us so long as we're very clear that it's only for us. This is internal lab based use. If you have a programming environment loading on each agent and you have agent to agent comms, then what else could you possibly need to assemble any multi agent system?
No, I think um, I've yet to give any answer other than we've got everything we need.
All right, cool.
I've yet to find anything. It's like, oh, it'd be really good to do that. There is scope. For example, yesterday when I was using the landing agent to create an agent and then look at the anatomy of an agent, that took a bit of pistol whipping. Weirdly, it did actually do it. So I think that was my prompting. That was so hard. But it did eventually say, okay, right, yeah, yeah. And here's how we do it, and here's the anatomy of it. And I sent over, I can't remember what the agent was. I sent over the agent.
Right.
We had a chance to look at that. But it's very interesting because yesterday you were asking for an agent anatomy in order to improve the cycle
Yeah.
of creating agents and so on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, within 2 hours, bit of a pistol whipping and so on, I'd run, I think it was 3 tests, so I generated an agent once using the landing agent, and then got it to consider what would how would it improve that, and it came up with a way, tested it, asked it for metrics, it came up with a bunch of metrics, and then got it to consider, the improvement and
Mm-hmm.
dedupe as well. It's like, do we really need that? It's like, or can you just not flop to that? For example, it had one file in telling it how to write a markdown. It's like, I trust you on markdown. It's fine. You
Mm.
don't need a separate file to tell you that. And it reduced it, and then got the metrics, and it was improving each time.
Mm.
Now, the interesting thing is, number one, with really quite little effort, we've got the anatomy that we're talking about, which otherwise would have been quite difficult to do. But also, the more important thing was I did manage to get the landing agent to consider its own process. Even though at the start it was insisting, I don't know anything about my process, I don't know how I'm here. And it's like, well, okay, let's create this other agent, look at the other agent.
Yeah, it's like it can't self-reflect, but it can infer when it sees something similar to it
Right,
working,
yeah,
but it
yeah,
can't. It has no self-awareness, which I think is a concept of because it was trained as one go, as
yeah,
opposed to something that continually reiterated. So its own self doesn't actually come into its learning process and its reward function at all. But it's easy
yeah.
for it to see it when it's happening over there, and then it just sort of makes a few inference steps, and it's like, oh, yeah, sure, that's how that
Yeah, yeah.
goes.
It's like it almost felt like asking the psychologist to analyze herself.
Yeah,
No, I can't do that.
can't
Can
do
you
that.
analyze this guy? Yeah,
Yeah,
sure, I can do that.
sure. Okay.
And there may be some guardrails in there that's been put in just so that
No, it's not. It's not. It's a known shortfall in the models. It's a lack of self-reflection. The rumor is that the models are starting to show signs of self-reflection, but there is no self-reflection in the model.
Hmm,
Mm.
yeah.
So this other little thing I wanted to show you. So this is 2 tabs of rough termite, and what I wanted to show you was that I can have the same tab open, and then I can type in it, and it shows up as the same on each tab.
Um, I thought we already had that. You've shown me that before, or is there something different I'm missing?
No, this is inside VS Code. This is the terminal inside the VS
Oh, okay.
Code.
All right.
Yeah,
Right.
and so what I've done is I've managed to get us codecs running inside VS Code because that wasn't working last time we spoke. But
Yeah.
now also when you share the URL for the window, if you're in the same terminal session, you can see that typed at the same time,
Right. Oh, that's
right?
nice. Oh, that's nice.
Um, so I guess what I'm trying to say is this: I don't want to spend too much time polishing this interface and customizing it. You'll have to deal with some of the stupid stuff, like it's got. I can get rid of all this stuff, but I just don't have the time. Like,
Oh, I just went next, next, next.
yeah, but you got to
Here.
do it every time a new agent comes up. However, you're probably not going to do it all that often. But
Yeah.
um, you get like you get all of the commands that you used to have. So I can go cd dot dot slash dot dot. Now I'm in the test computer. The key trick here is you can go open VS Code server and then specify a path or the local directory. And then what
Mm-hmm.
that does is it'll open up a new version, but link in that folder that you just asked for. So now I can see all of the agents, like all the agent tomls and all that, all the repos.
Okay. So, what was that allowing you to do? Jump into an agent that you created? Now you got the path.
Uh, well,
You can.
it lets you open. See right now, see how I'm restricted to which files I can see
Yeah.
in my workspace. But if I want to open something else, it's the same as going file, open folder,
Mm-hmm.
and then I guess you could just browse to it like that. But yeah, that's just on the command line. Typically, you would go either cursor or VS Code or code. But
Mm-hmm.
in this environment, the key command to remember is open VS Code server dot,
Mm-hmm.
and then that will open new files and stuff like that.
Okay. All right.
All right,
And
so
what does that do? What files does that expose? So, say if I had
everything.
landing agent that's created one other agent, if I
Yeah,
go OpenBS server, etc.,
yeah,
then I can see um, the files, including the working space of the
yep,
agent I've just created.
yep. That's right. That's right.
Okay, well, that's kind of
Like
good
the
then.
agent toml, you can double check the instructions and what came in. Oh, this is economic ermine. So this was the hell. This was hell. Electrical
Just
reindeer was fun.
I kind of miss Hal. I'm looking forward to Hal
Well,
3.
hell's right there. I mean, you can go right there. I'm just gonna jump around a little bit. Um, oh, where is it? Oh, here. This too is hell. This is hell as a state machine.
Okay, right. You're gonna have to explain what you just there. Stately.ai.
So this is, well, it turns out that we had already mapped HAL to a state chart, because if you want to make HAL be a workflow instead of a single bot,
Mm-hmm.
you need to do something like ask for constraints. Okay, generate constraints, right? Generate guess 1, 2, 3. Now, we were using one bot to do that, but we might choose to run 3 bots in fan out
Mm-hmm.
to get that. And so this is where I was toying with the idea of using state charts to specify the workflows that we want out of the agents.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it's going to be sufficient, because the state charts are they're overly descriptive or restrictive for flows, like massive fan outs. Like if I want to say that I want to run the workflow on every file in this folder, that type of a fan doesn't have a good representation in the state chart language.
Is it because the inherently with the state change, you're creating a bottleneck every time?
The state
Is that
forces
it?
you to be in one state at every time, whereas
Yeah.
we actually want to control multiple states. We want like something one level higher than the state chart. The state chart could be very effective as defining like a single, what's the word for it? That single, it's like a cursor where it's one state, you're only in one state. That's the restrictive thing. When you deal with parallel states, yeah, sure, it has a parallel state concept, but it gets very clunky. Like it's hard to easily manage 10,000 parallel states.
Oh yeah, but also, and this is kind of an agreement. Just make sure I understand. State charts are not great when you're dealing with confidence levels because, say, if you ask 10 agents for an answer and give a confidence level, you don't need all 10 to be quota. You know, it's like maybe seven. It doesn't matter which seven. Um, you could go with one, and then new information will be coming in,
Mm.
even though effectively you've moved on to the next stage because it's like, okay, so early reports are a bit like an election, right? You know, exit polls say this, we're not sure about that, low confidence. More information comes in, and eventually you converge.
All right, so
Um,
the downside was that I think that the Mango query language, which is a custom language for us, is kind of the best way to go. Like, I don't like making our own language, but what a funny time it is where making your own language is easier than trying to shoehorn your way into other things. Like, that just seems to be one of the unexpected gifts that AI gives you is that, like, developing a new language is really not that hard anymore.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's always the absolute, hardest task.
Yeah, but the AI just eats it. You
Huh.
know, like what are you gonna what are you gonna do? Like it knows about all the languages that have ever been popular. It knows about the logic and can check it all out. It knows how to code it for you. It tells you when you like something or not like something. Like it can answer questions when you're like, "Are you sure I should be making my own language? Are you sure there isn't something out there that does this and this?" And it can sort of be like, "No, it's there's nothing else that does what you want. This is more efficient for these reasons."
Huh.
Like I even asked this something like I was like, how come POSIX is so old yet so popular? Is it possible to prove that POSIX is the optimum way of defining an interface, right? Because it's just
Uh-huh.
perplexing to me that it's survived so long and it's so good. And then here we are in the age of AI being like, you know what, Maxwell, we need POSIX. And then, right, like I'm like, what is it about that thing? And it's ancient. And then I start
Yeah.
calling up Tmux and fucking GNU Screen from 1980 and all these things. I'm like, it's so old. But the reason the bot gave me was it said it is what's called Pareto efficient, which is a fairness economics principle, which says that it's Pareto efficient if any change would be a net loss. So if you advantaged one other piece, you would disadvantage some other piece,
I recognize that name from
right?
somewhere.
Pareto
Another
efficient.
concept.
Yeah, yeah.
There's something about that name, Pareto. I can't remember.
This thing.
There's, yeah.
Pareto efficiency is a state of resource allocation where it's impossible to make one person better off without making someone else worse off. So it's more saying that POSIX is more like a practicality trade off, and then
Yeah. And so it's settled down to
it's
the point
settled.
where,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
it's
settled.
yeah, yeah. I was looking for another word, but actually settled is very good.
Yeah,
for it,
yeah. So it's
and
not
that's
like
why it's stable. That's why it's stable. That's why it's useful.
yeah, and then it also ends up with gravity because it people vendors of software target it so that they can access a broader market, and then like suppliers of operating systems target it so that they can access a broader software ecosystem, and everyone gravitates towards it, and then you end up sort of stuck there because it's good enough.
Good enough, right?
Yeah.
It sounds like interesting enough. Everything points back to um, the topography of possible solutions, and it's like we're in the gravity well of this, and it's like to
Yeah,
push
the
up
gravity well of
one direction.
possibility.
Yeah.
The gravity well of possibility, and we're trying to get out of it. Now, there were some interesting things that came out of a talk that Sam Altman did in a live stream yesterday. And it was a very hurried and rushed one, but it was
Mm-hmm.
basically saying that they. I think there was like a. I sent you a link about it actually. Let me just. Are you okay if I pull that up now? I had a
Yeah,
I
yeah,
had a
go for it.
bunch of things to go over that are largely
I think
the
the real estate
the
is OpenAI further down.
oh, what?
You just went past it.
No,
Yeah.
no, 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 no.
No.
That's the
Oh yeah, yeah. That's when I was whining about it being slow, and then it got fast again. Yeah.
I like the fast thing. Where is? Oh, I know. Sorry, I again, the cognitive load betrays me. Um,
That's the giant we're trying to slay.
we're gonna get there. So, internal goals of having an automated AI research intern by September 2026, running on hundreds of thousands of GPUs. So they're basically laying out the AI 2027 roadmap in their terms,
Mm-hmm.
right? A true AI researcher, March 2028.
Ooh, that puts a got
So it's starting to,
goosebumps about the the implications of that.
right,
If
but
they get
then it's like
one, then they can get as many as get.
we're
Sorry.
trying to do the same thing, and like the I think we have a window, like a narrow window, where our swarm of agents can do good things for us, and then the maker's swarm of agents will come and do it all.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the gimmick the area we're in is actually short lived, but extraordinarily rapid. And so we need to be aware that there's this end game coming. I can't see us having a part in that personally because that feels they supply us with the weapons we need. And
Yeah.
if they have decided that they don't need to supply us anymore, then we're kind of up the shtuk, as they say.
Yeah. I put that in my bag of worry beads, which I put to one side and try not
The
to think
back,
about.
yeah. So I mean, these times though, right? Like we don't have a lot of time, and I don't know. Like we could just sit back and wait for that time.
That feels wrong.
Is it? Why though? Like I'm like maybe the smartest move is to wait till then and then grab it and be like, I know what that is, and then off we go. One option. Um, they've currently committed to 30 gigawatts of compute, which is like,
Jesus. Wow.
right? Like it's like what the fuck? 30 gigawatts. With a cost of ownership of $1.4 trillion.
Bloody hell.
But then they're like, this is wild. We would like to do more. We would like to build an AI factory that can make 1 gigawatt per week of new capacity.
That's where you get exponential.
So you want to use the
Um,
AI to make better factories, to produce better hardware, to be able to crank out a gigawatt a week.
yeah, they're applying exactly the same process that I'm not sure how many people around the world understand about the exponential value of self-improving AIs. Probably quite a few. Probably taking 1 or 2 million. Definitely not my mum. But these guys are applying that to the hardware level
Mm.
and also the research level.
Research and hardware, yeah. And so where we get into trouble is we are trying to be in the research area too, except we know that they're going for general AI, we're going for everything else. But so is anyone else who's anybody is going to be scrapping around for those bits as well. So our
Well,
platform is there. Sorry,
go on.
you
No,
go.
no, absolutely. No, I was saying it feels a lot like being a rodent running around, at the feet of the dinosaurs.
Yeah,
No way we're gonna compete with these guys.
yeah, but on the plus side, like they aren't gonna go after the food that we're going after because they need to fuel 1.4 trillion dollars of outlay. You know, like
That's exactly it.
physics still applies to them, right? So we
Yeah,
got like all the stuff that we can grab that they won't be able to touch or they can't live on. You know, like an elephant
yeah,
can't just eat this, this crumb.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, and so all the seeds are just sitting there.
Mm.
Um, Now the question is that comes down to a different level of competition. So our competition's not with these guys. These guys are the dinosaurs or the elephants, right?
Um,
But there's a
I,
whole
I,
bunch.
I would like to say something about that after you're finished. I think we might be their
Mhm.
competition, but I'll get into that once you're finished.
You kind of foreshadowed that a couple of calls ago about are we really model makers? Possibly. Um, but at the moment, it's like we want to be the biggest rodent. We want to be like the mega, you know, ant eater.
No, I don't think we
Um,
want that either. What we want is we want to say to all the other rodents, "Hey guys, we need to team up.
and do what when teamed up?
We need to balance the elephant."
Huh.
If they get to this level, the rodents are no more because first of all the elephants, there's several elephants. They need to fight each other to see who wins. Once they
Mhm.
win, what they're going to do is then come back down the chain and wipe out everyone. Because once they've won, they can then go after arbitrarily small items.
Well, yeah, because it's just a few GPU cycles, and then boom, there goes
Yeah.
another rodent. Yeah.
And how they win matters. And I would like to say that there is a position for, like, basically the majority of people are going to be in the rodent role.
Mhm.
The ability to make a model seems out of reach today, but the closer they get to having a true automated AI researcher in March 2028, the closer we get to having one too.
So, I don't know when you. I think it was three, maybe. Oh no, we've been having a lot of calls. It's probably more than that. Whatever, 7 calls ago. You kind of foreshadowed that, and I was kind of had a bit of a confidence boost on DeepSeek OCR because they were starved of resources and they found a new way of doing it. Now, I'm sure that they've been using this model or these models in order to inform themselves about how to make, DeepSeek OCR.
Correct, correct. And it's not so much you and I are model makers, it's to say that we can find other people who are also in the rodent role that can use the dreamcatcher notion of little contributions from many people on their best day to, as a team, be model makers.
That's not a nuts idea. It's a bit like, a revolution of peasants overthrowing the Tsar.
Right. But there's something else as well in that we can make the models be trained confidentially, even though they were done publicly. So long, we need a few more tweaks on the silicon, on AMD silicon, which they have over the years, which haven't been many actually, over the last 6 years, they have continually tweaked and improved the confidential computing aspect of their silicon. There's no reason to think they'll stop.
Mhm.
Right? So they patch each fault each time. And what that would mean is that we could train a model that was out of reach of all. You could use it, but you'd never be able to take it.
It's that training step that gives me pause because some of these GPUs individually as a unit go for like $25,000.
Correct, but
Um,
that's because there hasn't been enough time to, number one, optimize the silicon using AI, and number two, the demand has been shocking. Like the shock load will hit other constraints at this point. People are trying to turn on other capacity. They're trying to bring up their own fabs. They're trying to, you know, they're trying to. There's all these things, right? So that the price of these chips. I mean, the fact that I can actually go out there and buy a Grace Blackwell powered computer to sit on my desktop for about 3,500 US, that is
mhm.
not out of the reach of the average person.
Hmm.
You could
That's
do
true.
that. You could
And
do
if you
that.
distribute it, distribute the cost instead of
Yeah.
centralizing the cost,
And you think about the
then
price
there's
of a lot of people's homes, right? You could buy 100 of those for the price of a house, and that might just earn you an income.
yeah.
So all I'm saying is that there's the majority of the compute could not possibly be saturated by these big guys. The principles of money don't work that way. Like if you had all the money, you have none of the money at the same time.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you're gonna do
Because
both. Yeah.
yeah, and so there's always other GPU pools around. And if we can unify it and if we can say, well, here's a good market incentive for you to connect your GPU to this effort versus this other effort. Particularly, and this is the interesting bit,
Mhm.
particularly if we could use ambient attribution as a way to offer you equity for pointing your GPU at a particular model. So someone comes up with a novel idea for training a model, they're like, whoop-de-doo, they show some early promise. People point their GPUs at it for less than market cost in exchange for reward when the model is run. And when people pay for the outputs of the model, the people who invested their GPUs get bonus pay.
Which is ambient attribution, and
Yeah.
uh,
And so that means you
this
can
is
get a model
this is
trained for less than market rate.
I still hark back to what we were talking about with all the wasted uh, GPU and CPU
Mm.
cycles in the
Mm.
world.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
these guys, they're for their 1.4 trillion. Um, if there was a mass of people giving their, you know, Mac Mini M4s over.
Right. That's right. That's right. Because consumer hardware starts to become more and more like AI data center hardware. Like we need AI at the edge, so out will come all the edge chips.
Yeah,
They won't be that dissimilar. There will be an army of silicon that is everyday people.
yeah. And there's already work being done designing GPUs that have models burned into them, which is quite interesting
Right. Yeah, right. So
concept.
they're like highly optimized.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess that's the landscape, right? Like I just always feel like we're kind of always just in time to be a little bit late. Like,
That's exactly the feeling. That's exactly the feeling I get. It's like every time something new comes up, we sit here and say, we were talking about that 2 months ago.
Right. So here, the day after we got our agentic platform up, here comes Cursor with their parallel agents platform, um, being able to run multiple versions. Uh, they got their browser built in. I mean, we flipped that on its head. We're like built into the browser. Um, yeah, but anyway, it just feels like everyone's into the CLI thing, and I thought you would like this one, voice mode.
Uh-huh.
That might be good for you. Uh, plan mode in the background, so that's sort of what we want, right? We want something to run in the background doing planning, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just like, man, like everyone seems to be converging on the same thing, and I feel like we're able to not settle, but by straightening out our goals here, we're able to say that, this interface is enough for all of our work, because we actually don't care about the interface. We care about the intellectual knowledge that comes out, the quality of the code, the quality of the advice, the what's next advice, the problem solving, the rapid ingestion of information, the on and on and on, right? The navigator properties of it, where it's like, I'm a mouse, there's some elephants. Where's the elephant going to stand next? Okay, don't stand there. Okay,
Yep.
which other rodents should I find? They have a navigator too. Okay, great. Let's talk. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. And also, even on this interface, even in Tmux, uh, by insisting that all I'm doing is putting in natural language, I can actually run a lot of the Tmux just by knowing that it exists, but not having the cognitive load of having to learn, okay, so N and N or anything like that.
right,
Just
right. But I mean, like, this
parse
interface,
it.
I think, gets rid of all that problem for you, right? Like, you're familiar enough with VS Code that I think you can navigate through anything you want, I believe.
Yeah, but again, and this is a paradigm that may end up as like not the right way of doing it, but I do think it's going to ultimately be very fruitful if I stick to um, the idea that I just want to talk to the thing.
No, I think that I know what you want, but we just aren't there yet, and so a pragmatic blend of the two. Like, if we said it's either like VS Code or speaking to it, you know
Yeah, yeah,
that
but
you
the
know
yeah, but I agree when it doesn't do it, it's like I'm having to argue it, and it's like, oh, I don't know anything about how I run, as happened yesterday. Um, that raises up, well, maybe you should.
right, yeah,
Uh,
right.
so I know it's somewhat uncompromising, but I think it is a way um, to raise up to very interesting things that are going to be very useful to do, because as soon as you get massively parallel workflows that come down and so on, we
Yeah.
want them to talk in a language. Doesn't even need to be natural language. Eventually maybe they'll figure out their own language, that's up to them. um, but you want that kind of unitary thing. uh, for example, the Atlas browser is lovely, but it's a compromise, right? It's looking at something that you're looking at, and then
This
having
is
to
the
move
inner
the
workings.
cursor around.
I am convinced that this is the sufficient debugging interface for looking inside the AI brain.
Yeah,
This thing here, and it's like
yeah,
every neuron has this interface in it, and I can jack into it, and I'm good. Like, I got
yeah.
everything I need. I can even, I believe, be in rough termite and like SSH into fat cattle or functional hyena. Like I can control other neurons from here. So what what are we doing? Like what am I doing next?
Very good question. I was going to ask you exactly the same.
Fuck.
Um,
This is not Maxwell.
so, right, yesterday, uh, went through the process and improved the process using the agent by getting the anatomy. Now, what was the key to that? It was you saying we need an anatomy. What we need to do, I think, in order to answer these questions for ourselves, is you came up with we need the anatomy of the bot in order to improve the efficiency of it and so on.
Mm.
As soon as we can get uh, the context and the repo of what we're working on, then we can do a sensible answer to your question about what you do next or what
Sorry,
I do
what?
next.
What was your...
We need to use this tool in order to answer the question you just asked.
So how do we do that?
Um, I knew you were going to ask that. Damn it. We've got a lot of context material. Should we start putting it into
Well, it's sort of already here. I mean,
bot?
like
Yeah.
here, you know, like the repos, the HAL repo had huge amounts of context.
So if you were to, well, let's try this now. It's like, now, if you were to go into the NL line and ask it, okay, consider your own operation. How would we improve the operation of this? Is there anything we're missing?
You just asked me to prompt the bot.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to prompt the bot.
Okay. But that's the process I would suggest we go through.
I don't. I think we need like making it nicer and cosmetic is not fulfilling me with the
Well, that's not
direction I
cosmetic.
need.
No, that's not cosmetic. That's knowledge engineering.
Well,
Where
yeah, but we're not. I'm looking for things that are missing, not things that need improving. Does that make sense? Like I'm worried about what we don't have that we don't really know we have. Why don't I tell you what I think I'm doing next, and then we can build on that? Because this 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 conversation we're having is maybe one of the most ironic and like it is stupendously ironic that we spend so long trying to make a general intelligence system and then we sort of have it, sort of, and then we're like, what do I do with it? Like that's literally what just happened here. We're like, I'm not sure how to use AI.
well, it's like we're asking AI, hey, how should we use you to best effect? What do we need to do? Because
So we
I
should
some
fix it to the point where, like, when we ask that question, we'll know when it's wrong. So we just
yeah
basically got to fix it and keep asking that question until we know, until we don't know that it's wrong, right? Like,
yeah yeah
it's like
precisely
a special kind of Turing test. It's like the inverse Genie test. It's like when you tell me what my wish is and I don't know that that isn't what I want, that's pass,
yeah yeah yeah.
right?
And that loop I think is where we're at the moment.
You've superseded my ability to know what I want, and you've offered me something that seems better.
Yeah,
This is a
strange.
strange time because now we have like thousands of agents, but we don't know what to tell them to do so that they're profitable.
Yeah, but us sitting and thinking is going to be so much slower and more haphazard than
Right.
getting
So what I was
applications.
gonna do is I was gonna put first of all I'm gonna make the boot time go away, so it's gonna be instant for every agent. Then I was gonna make it so that we got the thread awareness within the agent to agent communication protocol.
Hmm.
Then I was gonna make the first iteration of the workflow language, and then I was going to get the bots to search the web to find ready-made things that already express it, but the research that I've done so far says it's not there. This is actually a small building block that we need that allows the platform itself to execute the workflows.
Yeah, and
Uh,
you've missed the processes and discovery of processes
what
being
processes?
um, kind
You
of
mean services?
sorry, services. Yes. So settled on workflows that you can just count as black box.
Yeah. So you can present a workflow as a service.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So workflows and services, and then is my job done?
Uh, that's probably only starting, but your job will change a lot because then we
Well, I'm not a
dive into
coder after that, right? Because like
yeah, exactly.
at that point, you and I are the same, right?
Yeah, yeah. And then
Are you sure there's
we're
no other bits that you can think of there? Because I can't think of any.
no. And yesterday you convinced me that NFS offloading to Git repos is yeah. Don't really need to worry about that now.
No.
So that's only the other bit. But
Like
you're
that
absolutely
gets
right.
easier. The
Is
more
that
time that goes by, that gets easier to do because the prowess of the system increases and the quality of the models increases. And so it becomes less and less effort to do it. And we haven't lost anything in the meantime, in the wait time.
right?
Like it's a
Right.
weird game now. It's like try and defer things as long as you can with no loss because each couple of months that goes by, it becomes so much easier.
Yeah, yeah, but we we don't want to defer too long because
Well,
then
that's the
we
trick,
we
right?
we fall down from being like a big rodent to a little vole.
Well, you end up
Mu-
going, you don't
There's
ride the wave, you go over the falls. And
yeah,
then,
exactly. Yeah. Um.
but what, okay,
So
so what are you doing?
well, that was
Or
the
what do you
question I
want
was
to
going to
do?
ask.
Like, what are you,
So
what are you supposed to do?
so yesterday was a very interesting exercise where uh by you saying, "Hey, get an anatomy of this," the uh the landing agent was self-reporting that, hey, this is a really good way of doing this. This is much better than I was doing. So one question is, I think I texted this, and you said, no, just leave it in the agent for now. It's
Hmm.
like, how do we lock that in?
Like, commit it to a repo?
Yeah,
Well, you
because at the
might as well
moment,
just commit to the Hell repo. I mean, the Hell repo was pretty good. I mean, it was really all about prompts.
yeah, but the again, stepping into that, uh, I suppose I could do that. You'd need to put the make how 3 aware that there when you're talking about agents. Go here, read that. Here's a bunch of information.
Yeah, but it
You know,
seems rude to
here's
not give it um access to templates, right?
yeah, yeah,
Like you're like it almost seemed like you should be able to give it access to some snippets of common prompts that work well that it can assemble and then test. So like it needs to they can't just stuff them together and be like, here you go. It needs to run evals on being like, does this bot meet the expectations? What are the expectations? Oh, I'm glad you asked. You better extract them from the human. But then it can also sort of figure out what the deeper meaning of what the thing the human's asking for is, and deduplicate it against the other agents in the library, where it's like this one does sort of that, so I'll make this different. It, right? Like we kind of want an agent factory. Maybe is the first thing we want. A
Yeah, and
process for building agents.
yeah, I was talking about that agent builder, and what I saw yesterday was a way of in thread in the landing agent improve the process of agent creation, which is at the moment the responsibility of the landing agent is the one that's doing it.
Yeah, but that's not
Probably
the
should
landing
offload it.
agent is supposed to be the concierge. That it's not the hotel manager.
Exactly, exactly. But it's useful to work inside of the landing agent to start with because without having an agent to improve, from plain cloth, you know, um, you want somewhere to bootstrap yourself,
Yeah.
and landing agent is useful for that. Now, um, what's the best way to do that? So if I were to fire up the landing agent, give it the we don't have permissions yet. So if I were to point it at the how repo, which is on GitHub, right?
It's on GitHub, but it's also in the repos section.
So where am I working? Where's the working
Well,
directory?
what do you want to do? You want to make an agent that works on HAL?
Um, I want to take the result from yesterday and then create an agent that creates agents.
And stores them in the HAL repo.
Um, for now, I guess, until we've got a better place to put them.
Okay, so what I would do is I would say, do you know what the prompt is going to be for this new agent?
It's on. No, but it'll be generated from the conversation of the agent that I sent over the URL of that
Okay,
worked on the
so
anatomy.
that generate with agents.md generated from the comments. Fuck, hang on, I got you. I'll have a crack at it, okay, and then you can tell me whether you think that was a bonkers way to go about it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Create me a new agent with agents MD generated from the conversation that was had in. What is the? What are some terms in which agent was it?
Hold a second. It's the one I sent you over on WhatsApp.
Not helpful. What's the agent?
Let me have a look. Hold on a second. It was. Uh, second. Oh, it's not connected. That's why. Reconnecting. 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 International Marmot.
International Marmot.
Mm-hmm.
What was the conversation about?
Was about improving the agent creation process by uh, giving guidelines which added an agent playbook, templates, Uh, recipe logger.
All right,
Everything else.
that's what I
Yeah.
think you need to do. This is awkward, but this is fun. Like this feels like how we figured this out.
Yeah.
I guess the goal is you and I need to equalize. Like we need to become the same role.
Yeah. Yeah. And the I always feel awkward when you say, you know, like, what am I doing next? It's like it's not because not thinking about it. I literally cannot think of any additional functions that are wanted here.
Are you
Right.
telling me that in of everything I've demonstrated to you, you feel like if I do the things I promised you, this would be feature complete?
I think so. And then some of it is a bit annoying in that if you go into International Marmot, you'll see that I had to pistol whip it a couple times, but it did do it and did it correctly. It
Okay.
just wasn't flopping first time.
Wasn't flopping how you want, right?
Yeah,
All right.
but
So,
that's finesse. That's finesse, right?
yep.
That's
Did
tuning.
you do you have any questions about the prompt I put in?
Create me a new agent with agents MD generated from the conversation that was in agents about how to improve the agent improvement process when it boots. Check out the how repo into this workspace. No, that seems
It's quite light,
self-explanatory.
right? Like that prompt is
Yeah,
small, but it sort of feels like it should probably work, or it has got a chance.
yeah. So here's an interesting thing. I mentioned this yesterday in the text saying I feel like a doofus because, and this is something you touched on. We're barely asking it enough questions.
We are
Um,
not. We are
the
woefully failing. The
yeah,
machine is
but the
idle.
oh, there you go. The Fibonacci agent. Yeah,
Did you make those files?
yeah, yeah. So I went through three agents. It's like the Pell sequence, Fibonacci sequence. There was one other, I can't remember. Doesn't matter. But these were uh, basic maths agents,
Yeah.
for example, to produce a Fibonacci series. And in each time, it's like pointing back at the process that landing agent had done in order to create those. Now, every time the agent was correct, had to pistol whip it a couple of times to stop talking about the agent we just created and talk about the process that you did in order to make that agent, but it finally got it. And then it proposed, I think it's three additional files in order to prompt it to create the agents more efficiently. I then, for the next agent at each time, at each step, it's like, okay, use those files, which you've now got stashed, you know what they are, in order to create the agent, but then create some metrics in order to say whether it's better or worse. And so let's see some of these things going past. I'm really curious to see if this will work with a single prompt like that. Yeah, but what I was saying is the bottle jam is you got all these things flying up uh, in the train of thoughts, and it's still the case that I don't feel confident just taking its word for it. So I'm going back up and reading it.
Are you reading the train of thought?
Yeah, yeah. Because at one point, again, I was talking about the process it undertook in order to create an agent, but it was talking about the agent itself. It's like, so you need to go back and say, no, I'm not talking about the agent itself, I'm talking about your process. And did get it. So, but that was the bottleneck because you've got a lot of information going past here, and it's like, is this right? Um, and it wasn't, immensely onerous, but it was taking about roughly, you know, 5x the amount of time it took to think about it, to think about what it thought about it. Something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. I like to imagine that as we get just one or two little helpful agents, and we just smooth the very rough edges off it, it'll start to get better. But I think what I want first is the automated stuck filing. And the way I wanted to approach that was that I felt like the first thing that the agent should turn to is the service directory. And instead of it actually searching the service directory, what it should do is file a stuck. Like, first thing it does, stuck. And then what comes back is like, this is sort of what we got. And what that allows us to do is, like, we are getting the agents to continually use the stuck loop, or at least the entry point of the stuck loop, so that every time they look for a service, we know what they were looking for, and we can parse that on the receiving end asynchronously to generate the services that would make it the most useful. But the beauty of a stuck is that it's the flop. So the stuck is flopped into the service request, and if we supply those immediately, then like the flop is gonna be the most common thing that comes up.
Yeah, so the when you ask something, then it would go to, let's call it the stuck agent for now. And stuck agent would look through the services saying, how close are any of these services to what you're asking? This is quite close. All right, you can use that for now, but then look at the diffs and then raise a stuck that can be ground in the background in order to make another service that fills the gaps. Because maybe one of these services got a 50% solution to what you're asking, which is better than zero. But in the background, it will create the service and then present that service as a kind of single flop. And even if it doesn't do exactly what you wanted it to do, maybe it gets to 80% or whatever, that's still a service. That might be useful somewhere.
So is that, I mean, is that like, because there's some, what we got to start wiring in is agents that are deep in the platform, like they're part of the platform.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas right now we've got agents that are they're not critical to function for the platform, right? Whereas like
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, like the agent maker feels pretty critical. Having the stuck loop as like, I feel like the stuck loop needs to be an MCP tool call. Like, it's that level of importance that it's like the stuck filing and the service directory are the same thing. Because if you thought of an agent or a workflow as a solution to a problem, and if we change our minds from supplying data or documents or code or programs to supplying agents as the answer, then the stuck loop and the service directory are one. Does that sound like the right choice to you, or is that a little bit wobbly?
Loop and the service directory sounds like something different. It's a part of the stuck loop.
The
The
service directory is the solution to the stucks.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so are we saying then that a solution in this environment is always delivered by way of an agent turning up?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's not like a
how
piece
else?
of code. Yeah. It's always an agent. And that agent
Yeah.
might run some code, but the service is delivered by an agent.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I guess, like, you know, if you're working on your home or something, you kind of want a dude to turn up with a hammer. You might not just want the hammer. because it's like I wanted a builder, not the tools that the builder has. Like
Right,
that's
but the
missed the
interesting
point.
thing is we can have a grinding agent in the background looking at the agents that are presented as services and say, are any of these simple enough that we could create some code for it? Maybe some are. Like the Fibonacci series agents, right? It doesn't need to be an agent. You don't need that token burn in order to get a Fibonacci series. You could do it in a dozen lines of Python. And so the kind of compression step would be to look at what the agent does and what it's been asked to do as a service, and is there a simpler way of doing that? Yes, piece of Python code. That's great. So you just kick that off.
Well, buddy, here's the agent that was created.
Okay, this is interesting. You are the process steward.
But what it's done is these are the instructions which have clobbered the system instructions. This is the agent improvement workflow.
Why did it clobber the system instructions?
It wrote instructions down.
But you explicitly said to use agents MD, not
Yeah,
instructions MD.
yeah, that's right. Oh, it's told it to talk to another agent. Call recipe logger named
Yeah, that,
Sacred Token to append structured entries.
yep, yep. That was part of the process it suggested.
So is it true? Is it true that all solutions in this platform come in the form of an agent? The answer to any question, the answer to any stuck, starts with an agent name. Is that true?
The answer to any question starts with an agent name.
So I'm like, hey Scott, how big is Africa? And you're like, Sacred Token said.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, yeah, because
Is it?
it's kind of a fixed point.
Because that's a funny thing. That's the thing I keep bumping, skinning my knuckles on when I've been building this thing. Like, there's only agents. There is no computer. You can't talk to a computer. You can only talk to an agent in the computer. And so,
yeah, and those agents know about NCPs and know about tools, all that kind of good stuff.
right. And they can run
So
code and they can do that. But you never actually, like, the answer is never an executable. The answer is this agent that can run the executable.
yeah,
Or it's almost like the answer is not the raw binary, it's an agent skilled in the art with the raw binary. Which means that, like, really what that's saying is the agent is going to take care of the cognitive load of working the binary.
yeah, I think it's right.
If you
I think
want to
that is the way
get
it
the
should be.
raw binary off the agent and do it yourself, fine, but it comes with a complementary agent which allows you to control it using natural language when the tool can be arbitrarily complex to operate.
Yeah,
Okay, so are you fucking sure, Maxwell, that I'm going to make us a service directory? The service directory is going to be the ingestion portion of the stuck loop, where if you want to query the service directory, you are going to formulate a stuck and you're going to talk to an agent where you're going to go back and forth about a stuck and you're going to get a stuck formulated concisely enough that it meets some sort of a standard, which might take a couple of rounds, and then that stuck is going to be used to query or look for pre-registered, pre-solved agents that are going to be handed back to you as the solution.
yes, and that first step is quite interesting. So I don't know whether this is right, but this is how my brain flopped yesterday to create this. I was talking to landing agent,
Mm-hmm.
and saying, okay, I've got a vague idea of what I want to do here. Let's work it out. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, let's run a couple tests. Um, and for each of the tests, it's like, okay, create that agent and run the agent. Uh, and then inside the thread, it's like compare that with the weren't evals, they were metrics. Compare the metrics with the previous one and this one because I want to improve that agent. Fine. Now, instead of asking if the landing agent, every time it was told to create or run an agent, was actually going into the stuck agent. So let's say create agent goes into the stuck agent, looks through the services, and you're saying, you're trying to just solve the thing that we solved ages ago. Here is that agent, and it would have to evaluate because it's unlikely it's 100% max hit. It might do some of it.
Right.
It might
So it
need
would
to make a
right.
new
So
workflow.
really, the caller needs to know first of all the concept of a stuck and a service, and
Hmm.
it's gonna talk to a stuck the stuck agent
Hmm.
because that thing knows about stucks, and searching for stucks may be a very complex multi-agent workflow to really drill down to getting the right thing for you. Then you're going to get given back your agent. You need to know that you should test it first. Like you're like, I got these top three services. I'm going to try the first one. No, that doesn't look like it, or it didn't work out the way that everyone thought it would. Now I'm going to try the second one. And then you go back to the stuck agent and be like, actually, scratch that. You should only get one back. You don't get multiple ones. So the stuck agent gives you, he's like, here you go, Johnny, first cab off the rank. You use it. You try and see what you can get out of it. And then if it doesn't work, you complain back to the agent. So that's the critical part. You got to program in to the bot to know how to use the stuck agent or the service directory, whatever we call it, is that it needs to know how to ask, receive, trial, complain, or re-ask, restuck. And if you can get that loop going, then what that critically gives us is that all the feedback goes through one place. And so that service directory gets better and better and better because it's receiving high quality stucks and feedback on those iterations on those stucks every time. And then our job becomes sitting behind the stuck agent looking at what today's biggest misses were. Like, oh, that's an interesting one. We needed an agent to do this, this, and this, and 5 different jobs required it. Okay, what are we going to do, Maxwell? And then we,
Yeah, it's
right?
and that's close.
Because what's happening is you and I have gone in here and we started solving things our fucking selves. And then you come to me and you're like, oh, it's taking too long because I can't think fast enough. And I'm like, yeah, you and me both, buddy. But it's with the issue, the problem I think, mate, is that we've started to try to make the solutions, but really we should be making the process to define the problems first, and it shouldn't really be us that's
That
doing it.
that is interesting because that is exactly what. If I was to summarize yesterday's session, it was a back and forth where I took an original concept and um, I was essentially working with a landing agent, doing a very good job of it, to actually sharpen up, ask questions. What do you really mean with this, and so on. Um, and then from the point of, yeah, okay, that is neat. That's what I want. Make that happen. Then, if that were to go to the stuck loop and look through services and go, it's already been solved. There you go. Didn't know about that. Or
Right,
if
right.
it's like 80% solved, it's like, well,
Right,
And
and then because
here's an interesting thing. If it's 80% solved, the stuck agent should also consider, let's create an agent that does the 20% and then create a workflow where the 80% goes to the 20% to get you 100%.
yeah, sure. Um,
Or smish the two together.
what I'm thinking is that I shouldn't do workflows next. I should do the service directory slash stuck the solutions catalog.
I think that's a good thing to talk about because remember, 2 calls ago, I was stunned by the fact that um, in in the landing agent thread,
Yeah,
I managed to just get it to do workflows and even give me ASCII art of what that workflow was, report on each stage, and so forth. And so workflows sounds like a, a way of making it a bit quicker. Let's bake it into an SAP or whatever. But it doesn't seem urgent as when we were originally talking about workflows because it did workflows straight out of the box. It's like it's great.
right. I also don't think that um, the problems we have right now are not necessarily workflow powered problems. Like we're trying to just turn the lights on and get like a, a washing machine, hot water, the toilets flushing. Like we actually can get a long way with just single agent solutions with a service directory. And then what should happen is that the stucks will start to point naturally towards the need for workflow level coordination.
Right, right. And presumably, I'm thinking a service when you pop the bonnet and have a look at it. It might have uh, multiple agents with a workflow, with logic, on all that kind of thing. Put the bonnet down, turn the engine on, happy days. And so there is a need to um, to discover what the best way of inside of a service, giving it the workflow that triggers, because it needs to then, perhaps talk to many agents in black box mode to give the answer out. So there is a need to understand what a good way of doing a workflow is. Maybe it's a mermaid MD, perhaps. Maybe there's a better way. Don't know. Um, but certainly that's a question that we can ask the single bot. But what you're saying is that is not crucial now because as soon as we get services, we've kind of we've got the ratchet there. We've got something to cling on to because at the moment, sure, we can spin up other agents, get other agents to talk to other agents, but it feels quite ephemeral. It feels it's like, yeah, I want to, for example, um, the work did yesterday on the anatomy thing that you prompted me as another agent to go off and do. Um, we did. There's a thing there now. It's like, well, where do we stuff that? That is an improvement.
Well, that
Um,
would surely be in a repo somewhere, right?
well, yes, in the repo of whatever that agent is. I can't remember what International Marmots. So it's in the working directory of International Marmot right now. How do I
Okay.
stuff that into a service, or how do I? It's not even a service, is it? Because well, yes, it is. Um,
So, sorry, where
because
is
that
this? Where is the thing?
International Marmot.
Okay, so that would be. How would I get there? I would go. don't want that. I want this international marmot.
Gay opossum. I love some of these names. They always make me smile. Hungry mouse. Icy crowbar. It's quite great
International.
you're doing it.
That's funny, right? Okay, so which one am I looking at?
Inside that workspace, there you go, agent playbook. That's one of the files.
So the idea of a workspace is supposed to be that's what gets checked out. So in Flexible Gibbon, in the workspace, this is actually a Git repo, and when I commit it, it will go back to the Howl branch. So if I am in Flexible Gibbon, I go into my workspace, I see the Howl folder, I go into Howl, I go Git status, and it's on the branch agent/agent underscore Flexible Gibbon. So this is the checked out version of Howl. The idea was that each agent checks out a version of one of the repos in one of the computer repos, and then it can work on that with immunity from other agents.
Okay, so and this is more my ignorance of the tool at this point, but I just want to check. So yesterday in International Marmot, it finally flopped on an improvement to the agent creation cycle. Now, you just went through the process of creating an agent or instantiating the agent creation agent.
Yeah.
Where do I get permanence on that? As in, now that is the default for everyone. So I'm in International Marmot. It's like, yeah, that's good. What are the steps from there? Saying now I want to create the agent creation agent.
Oh, so I think I know what you mean. So you're not saying how do I get it into a repo? You're saying how do I make it so that every new agent henceforth contains those instructions.
Precisely.
Like you want to make that the new landing agent.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. And
okay, that's a good question.
And as a service available for
yeah. Okay, so there's three questions there. First one is the simple one. How do you get it to be the agents.md or effectively the sys prompts for any agent that you create? So that's capability number one. Capability number two, how do you make it be the sys prompt for the landing agent of your computer? And capability number three, so landing agent, any agent, I forgot what the third was. I'm sorry, I don't know where that went. But those are the things you're asking for. You're not just asking to store it in a repo. You're asking for how do you hook it up?
Yeah, yeah. And
okay, well, you can.
Henceforth, this will be the way you do it.
Henceforth, every time. Oh no, sorry. The third one was how do you make it a service? Like a service being a agent that is long-lived. Like it always, and it's not just a silly name. It's like a formal name, like the agent creator bot.
Yes.
Or something like that, right? Yeah. But those are opposing things because the landing agent should know how to use the service directory to find the agent creator bot. rather than being the agent creator bot.
That's true, but we don't have an agent creator bot at the moment, and we're bootstrapping ourselves up by using the landing agent in order to create that, and then we kind of want to expose the agent creator bot such for that next time, you know, the stuck bot saying, "Oh, you want to create an agent? Know how to do that. There's a service for that." Boom.
Right.
There it goes.
So that's the use case. You wanna have a so the landing agent is not what you're trying to make the creator bot. The landing agent calls out to the service discovery agent, and it can ask for a range of things, but one of them is, and I need to create an agent, and so it gets given back the agent creator bot.
Sort of, but we're one step prior to that, which is creating the agent creator bot that henceforth will be used. So the way I was using the landing agent is a bit like a sandbox. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, let's iterate, let's think about this, blah blah blah. Took a couple of hours. Happy days. Right, good. I'm happy with that. So at this point, and this might be the last time we have to do it in the landing agent, because it's like, okay, well now let's create an agent creator bot, which you touched on with that last prompt.
Right.
It's like, okay, we now have an agent bot. What I want is that to be the thing that you use every time I ask for an agent to be created. And also, at some point, I'm also going to want to point probably again the landing agent at the agent creator bot and saying, okay, I think we can improve this. What do you think? Is there anything we've missed? Blah, blah, or in the conversation, we've decided we need this new thing in the agent creator bot. And then you're working on that as an object, and it's like,
right. All right. So how about then that landing agent is just a special kind of service? It's a service that can be looked up. It's available instantly, and it's done without any AI conversation. But it's still really just calling on the service directory. And so if you want to modify it, what you modify is the pointer in the service directory that says what a landing agent is. Yeah?
yeah, and that kind of reflects what I need to do to pistol whipping, because I started off by getting or asking the landing bot to consider how it creates agents. Really, what we're talking about now is I want to work on a new agent. I've got a big idea. Let's work through, talk with me, landing agent, blah, blah. And then, right, okay, here's an agent now. Now, stuff that as a service. And in the future, I might want to revisit that agent and improve it. Or
Right.
you might want to, prompt me saying, this is quite inefficient. There's a better way of doing it.
Okay, Maxwell, I think I got it. So
Uh-huh.
the first thing I should make is the service discovery agent, which is going to be the first round of prompting on it will be hand done by me before I hand it off to you, but it will come with some special tooling. The tooling will enable it to alias or define, connect different agent instances or the provisioning files required to create them to a specific stack. So, hey, I want a landing agent, points at this set of configuration files for that agent. Then from there, you can call up the agent creator bot to point at some of the files that are defined in the service directory alias for landing agent, improve it, and then push it to be the new version that the discovery bot sticks to. The key innovation there, I think, is to make all the queries be stucks, the refusals or the errors to be refinements on stuck, so still more stucks. But the crucial bit is once I've got some successful uses, like you should always have to hand back the agent with a review, like did it do well, did it do bad, what would you improve. So it always gets checked back into the service directory, not that it needs to be, but it gets a survey done when it comes back in. And now the critical thing, the part of the plumbing, is that whenever you change one of the services in any way, the system will rerun the previous jobs that it
Yes.
did,
Yes.
and it will sort of semi-refuse you, only because we're new, but later it'll hard refuse you if you made improvements that fail more.
That's right. And in Marmot, you see that towards the end, well, about two-thirds down, I was asking, right, you come up with the metrics about whether this next version is better than the previous one.
Right. That
And
again can be an agent subject to the same improvement testing.
it's almost like the service needs to have the metrics by which it is judged embedded in it.
So that it's
So that,
aiming for them, so it's got a
yeah,
bit of self-reflection, you mean?
yeah. So you've got,
Yeah, yep, sure, I agree with you, but that seems like a finesse thing.
yeah, it's where to stuff it. It's just that um, now, now this is just the way I've been using it, but landing agent seems to be the sandbox where you work out your ideas, and then at the right moment, it's like, okay, I've worked out that. Now the being
Because they're
sandbox,
transient. Yeah, they're transient.
yeah,
You can
yeah,
completely bust them, and you're like, oh, yep.
yeah, and so yeah, it's not working, and so it's running services, and so it's like let's create this new agent. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, right. Okay, let's make this change. Is that better than the last? And it's going up to the last, and it's like, well, I'm running that last and running this new version, which is not committed yet.
Hmm.
And then when you're ready to commit, then it goes, all right, okay, there you are. It's now a service going through service creation bot, which doubtless we're gonna need. Probably called by the stuck bot. So the stuck bot is looking at each of these things and it's like, all right, that's what you want to do. And okay, it's checking what it already can do. And saying, well, this is completely blue sea stuff you're doing here. I've no idea. Crack on, guys. Or, this is already really almost solved.
So tomorrow, what I'm going to do then is not the workflows, but the stuck agent, the service directory,
The services. Yeah.
services, right?
Well, yeah, exactly. Um, and those services will need some kind of concierge, which will be through the stuck agent. So the services
Yeah.
kind of
The first
require
service
the
is
stuck
the
agent.
services agent.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so a landing agent, or indeed the minimum bot to be capable, knows about the service agent or the stuck agent and knows about how to call on it to get agents that have been predisposed in some way to a particular purpose.
Now there's one wrinkle,
Uh-oh.
which is the landing agent itself. Do we make it just a blank flashing cursor that knows about services? But then if you want to improve the landing agent, how do you do that through the landing agent? Which we've already talked about. You can't do it as a running one.
No, but so that's easy though. You just make it be the agent under test. So you'd call up the agent maker, and then you'd either jump into driving the agent maker directly, or you'd stay in your landing agent and direct the agent maker to make this new version of a landing agent, which you'd test either a combination of manually, or you'd get the automated test run, or you'd say what's wrong with it, and you'd watch those two agents sort it out. Like the agent maker and the agent under test has been told, look, there's a problem where if I do this, this, and this, I get this out. I want it to be B, not A. And then it will look at the composition of the current agent, and it will try to refine it until it gets a good improvement, and then it presents it back to you. Hey, is this good? And you might have a poke at it. You look at the history. You look at some sort of a TPS report that ran on it, and you're like, yeah, that's good. And now it's hoisted and it's promoted to be the new landing agent. You ditch your current car, rejoin the system, the new landing agent appears, you're like, ta-da, whoop-de-doo.
That's the way to do it, but also that allows for the actually good refinement, because we've got previous agents stored.
Previous agents, and we've also got feedback that comes from all the usage of the agents.
Yeah.
And
So
then we just start building out that catalog.
yeah, so we got say 10 landing agent versions, and then we can grind in the background
Yeah.
to see whether the latest one is just going into a bit of a local minima. It's like, well,
Oh, right.
you go
Oh,
back
yeah,
that.
that's a good point, right? Because because you can actually do a circle in the incremental path where you're like bit better, bit better, bit better, bit better. Oh, I'm back at the start,
Right. And if
right?
you had the metrics about what was better, and this is an expensive token burn, I guess, but you could
That's what we
for
want.
every landing agent prompt that you put in, you could run it against all previous prompts and go, well, actually, last February this one did better, and it's like, oh, that's
Yeah,
interesting. Why?
yeah.
Okay, all right, I like
So
that.
not workflows, but just very simple point solutions, right? And then
Services,
services
yeah,
first, workflows second, because
yeah.
services make the platform hugely more useful even without workflows, right? Like you're just like, oh, the agent creator, great. The
Well,
general
the
knowledge guy, great.
the interesting thing is you can, I'm pretty sure, yeah, even now, um, prompts an agent to look at a workflow which references other agents and logic and so on inside of a service. So it's like, is the workflow just, instructions to a service?
No, it's not. The workflow needs to be much more strongly defined than in the context of a bot,
Uh-huh.
and it also needs platform grade tooling to allow it to fan out rapidly. Because if you ask an agent to start up 100 other agents, you'll be sitting there a while as it does like one tool call at a time to get the agents up, right?
Right, but that's an efficiency thing, not a functionally complete thing. Um, that would improve the speed and the consistency. Um, but
Correct, but also the quality, I believe, because if you ask an agent to do something for like 100 times, I feel like you would lose some quality in the results of its thinking from that point on.
yeah, yeah, there is that.
So there's
I
a
think you're probably
cleanliness
right.
about it, but in theory, for a perfect agent, it would work just fine. An agent that had no hallucinations and had no loss of purpose from context loss. That's an interesting concept, actually, the perfect agent. Like,
Hmm.
infinite context never gets lost. What would it do? So, like a Turing machine, like how you
Hmm.
the Turing machine concept, right? So, you're right that workflows would be perfectly. A perfect agent could be all that you need for workflows. So does that mean then, like, the perfect agent would still need the service directory, hey?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Because
absolutely.
even if the agent was perfect, it has to deal with an imperfect environment. The problems are different every time. The humans have taste, like the humans are always right in matters of taste, and so Now it needs to have improvements to be better suited to a particular taste, which says nothing about the perfectionism of the agent itself. It just says that the problem it's trying to solve is circuitous or poorly defined or you
Yes,
know
yes,
whatever,
yes.
right?
And there's something else here, isn't there? In a workflow agent, instead of creating, or it's not say, you've asked something of the stuck agent,
Yeah.
and it's like, actually, you could do that by taking these services as Lego bricks and creating this workflow, and then wrapping that up as effectively a bash script.
Or another service.
Yeah, it would be exposed as another service, and it's like,
Mm.
oh, we know how to do that, but it would be really parsimonious, wouldn't it? It's like it could be defined purely as the workflow and the service names, and the services each in turn are doing the heavy lifting. Go and find the weather, book me a flight, book me a hotel, make sure,
So you wanna make the workflow be defined in terms of services from the service catalog,
yeah,
right? Right? And
yeah,
then that
and that,
means that the service could be arbitrarily deep. Like it could be a very complicated workflow in itself, but
yeah,
you're like, fuck it. You just look like a fucking inbox to me.
yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. And then you've got a Lego brick system
Mm,
where you've got the stuck, not only thinking, is there a black box that just does this? It's also saying,
right.
could I construct a workflow that would do that?
Could I construct a workflow out of the existing services that I have?
Right.
Yeah. You've come on the wrong side of the fence there in that approach because you've become a tool maker when you're in the role of being a tool user.
Uh-huh.
But like I'm thinking of it like the service directory agent represents a conceptual wall between tool use and tool construction, and so the the agent requesting the tools should never be trying to make the tools.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Really,
Yeah, yeah. I was talking in this bootstrap situation we're
right?
in where we're having
Oh,
to, like,
I think there's a
yeah,
lot of tools that or stucks that can be solved. Like the request to the stuck agent doesn't mean that you can't. It can give you several levels of answer. It's like short answer, I don't know. Medium answer, let me have a go. Long answer, I've phoned a human. We'll have one for you tomorrow.
yeah. And you kind of want, depending on the urgency of it, and I'm not sure how you'd prompt that, but if for example, say, think deeply, you're going to get an 11-minute run,
Yeah, yeah,
and so on. But what would be great is a quick and dirty answer.
yeah,
And I'm still thinking about it. I'll come back with you, boss. And here's a medium answer. I
yeah,
think we're onto something here. Right. Here's the proper answer.
yeah.
And then you can work on the quick and easy and go, actually, no. I asked the wrong thing. I see what you're doing. Right. Okay. Let me step in at that point. Right. Try this one.
Right, all right. So what am I doing? I'm gonna do the agent-to-agent communications with threads. I'm gonna do the codecs agent to parse the protocol of the codec CLI accurately so that it can run headless.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tear down the tmux terminal, so there's going to be no more tmux terminal page. There's just going to be the VS Code page, and when you want to talk codecs, you got to fire up a terminal in VS Code. Is that okay?
So, in practical terms, that would be me going to International Marmot, for example,
Yeah.
with port 3000.
No port. I've made it
No
default.
port.
No
All
port,
right.
and it pulls up VS Code, and it's reliable now.
Right.
That bug
Grand.
took several hours to find.
Oh dear. There goes a few hours more of your life.
Never coming back, buddy. But yeah, so you go there, no port. The default is VS Code. VS Code, you open a terminal and then you type codecs. If that becomes onerous, I can speed all that up but the pattern I observe from you is that you fire up an agent, you configure it how you want, and then you use it for a few hours. So that
Yeah,
seems like a good payback for
absolutely.
some clicking.
Yeah. So open up International Marmot if I wanted
Yep,
to, or create a new one just by putting agentic
yep,
uh, no ports,
yep,
terminal, codecs. Then I'm right in which something that would look very familiar to the
yep,
Tmux, except with all this extra stuff.
yep.
Okay,
Except your files are right that you can browse the files, you can see the git diffs, you can see all that.
brilliant. Okay, now there's gonna because I'm unfamiliar with the tool to the level I'd like to do. That's probably going to be a couple hours just playing around with it, making myself up to speed. But then my question is similar to your question yesterday. It's like
Mm.
great anatomy. What do I do next in terms of looking at improving the system, or should I just hit it and try and do some interesting stuff and see what comes out?
Mate, I guess a bit of both. The when you give me an agent at the end of your day, and I'm like, oh, well, what do you want me to do with this? Like having a system that was more usage focused. Like if at the end of
Hmm.
the day I could come into the stuck agent and I'm like, show me all the stucks. And it's like, well, we had this one and that one and that one, and we got some good feedback here. We had some wins here, and I'm like, replay this stuck. Like, that's actually the way that I want to engage with your problems. I don't
Uh-huh.
want to have to read your thread because not all of it is problematic. It's the things that
Well,
you saw as problematic were
yeah,
sort of
it's all
not clear to
cognitive
me.
load. It's all cognitive load, right?
Yeah, yeah. And like I don't really
Um,
know what you want, and I gotta guess hard about what you were trying to do because that's sort of not, like I really just want the tool builder side of the stuck loop ASAP because that's sort of, like all these problems that you're having, they're not specific, like they're kind of they're actually generic problems that the stuck loop would if we made the stuck loop as a general solution to all of these problems, not a direct solution, but it makes it far more pleasing or easy to solve the solution, and importantly, when we do solve it, make sure it stays solved after future iterations, during iterations.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so
So that's probably the first pillar to hoist, right? The stuck loop, which turns out to be the service directory that I would never have guessed, but here we are.
yeah, so pending the service directory, I'm just thinking about today. What's next? So directory is not there yet. It
Yeah.
will be. I can imply it. What I could
I
do
mean, fuck.
is take. Sorry, sorry.
Sorry, I cut you off.
What I could do is to go through Marmot, which was a genuine stuck loop, but
Mm.
in landing page thread, and then I could start to get it to consider how best to pull out the stucks, and then just I will stash them in a file for now.
Right. So you could write them and then deduplicate them and whatever, right? Curate them.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I can
Because we
create
got. I mean,
a
that's really the thing we're trying to get here, right? We got to get stucks, like actual atomic little modular documents that represent stucks.
yeah.
And we got to get solutions to those stucks, which comes out as agents. Can you find a way to make me feel better about agents being the answer to everything? Like I'm just feeling fucking weird about that. Like,
Uh, well, we could all strike again. I have no idea because I'm getting the same vertical. It's like, is that it?
is
But
that really what
it's
what a
it's a
solution
Lego
is?
brick. It's a
This,
Lego brick.
yeah, you just gave me. It's like telling me to Google something. Like Google has become the answer to everything. Like that's not helpful. That's not helpful. Like um
It's uh, in terms of your last question, make you feel better that agents is all agents basically.
is agents the response to
Um,
the stuck loop?
Agents are well, yes, because agents are the ones running the stuck loop and running the services and discovering the services, and services are agents.
Everything is solved in some way by an agent.
And the landing agent is an agent.
Fuck,
Um,
that feels fucking weird, man. It's almost like I miss old
well,
software. But what that's
the,
really saying is that, like, if you're saying that an agent is the solution to all the stuck problems, you're saying that all this old software, we don't need any of it.
except for efficiency, because you don't always need an AI producing a Fibonacci series. But then
No,
the
but
solution
that's
to
not
that
true. That's
isn't.
not true because you don't want to run the Fibonacci series. You just want to speak in text to the Fibonacci agent, and it does the calculation using bits of software, maybe.
Well, yeah, that's exactly my point. I want to say, give me a Fibonacci series starting at 10, and give me five results
Right.
in the series. Um, and that's natural language. That needs, because it's natural language to go into an agent to start with. That Fibonacci service um, may decide that it can just
Right.
plot
Right.
it,
So
or
it's not that the an agent is the answer to all problems. It's that an agent is the presentation of the solution to any problem. Like it's
yes,
always
that's more precise.
it's the box around it, right? You're like
Right,
it's wrapped in an agentic interface, which means that you can talk to it using other agents. It's compatible with other agents. You can speak to it in English, but that's the solution comes packaged as an agent. That's better,
right.
right?
So,
Yeah.
for example, yeah, that's more precise. A service that um, was the Ask Tom agent. Um, I would natural language way saying, "Hey, can you ask Tom, what the what he's doing for dinner tonight?" Um, and it would go to you. Now, the inside of that agent, it might have, inside that service rather, it might have more usual ways of doing it rather than go through AI. For example, text you saying, "Hey, Scott's asking you what you're doing for dinner tonight," but you're just an endpoint wrapped inside of the service. So you're still
Wrapped, right? I'm always
still
wrapped.
talking
Yeah,
to the
yeah, yeah,
service.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
it could
it's
be
always
anything.
wrapped.
Yeah,
Okay, so
anything
it's like so an
anything you want to link
agent
up to.
becomes in that sense a package or a module, an npm package, a Python package, a Rust package. It's still the agent is the packaging format of the
Right,
system.
right. Let me test that idea. Let's go to an extreme. Okay.
The dependencies of the platform are agentic in form.
Yes, I'm going to try and stress this idea. So imagine Christmas lights, and each Christmas light has an actuator that turns on or off,
Right.
and each light is wrapped up in a service. Right, so that you can talk to that light. You can in natural language say, "Turn this light on," and they go, "Ping." Okay,
So
right.
it's
Now
wrapped in
let's
an
think.
agent, which means it has a agent-agent communication interface, and
Yep.
I can talk to it in natural language. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now let's say, right. There are 10 lights across my ceiling. I want some kind of waveform, and you go, well, okay. So now you're talking to um, stuck loop, saying, "Oh, I know how to do that." What we need is Christmas light agent, and Christmas light agent knows, oh, I know where your lights are. Okay, I'm going to talk to each of these agents, each of which has an actuator that turns them on in a waveform, and you're still dealing with it in natural
All
language.
right. So then if
All
I
that
go, okay, I
complexity.
want them all to switch on at the exact same time. And now all the agents, they can't do that, but they can negotiate with each other to open up ports and services and be like, okay, who's got the time source? This guy. Okay, we're going to use that time source. How are we going to send up this pulse? Well, I got this little bit of software, so if you ping me on this port, or we'll all subscribe to this agent,
Right.
and then this agent will go clink, and then off it goes. And they're like,
Right.
okay, we
It's
got it.
like, yeah, you got, one agent going, okay, guys, good plan, go. Boom.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I feel a bit about that. So that means that service directory is maybe the most critical part of the whole
Yeah.
thing, really,
Uh,
because that's like npm.
could get quite large.
It's supposed to. And it'll be fine to do so, but that's basically npm.org right there.
Right.
The code
Actually,
repository, the
even
package repository.
even the size of it, you could create services that um, have a subset of the services available for some kind of specific things like
Yeah. Yeah. So
Christmas
that's
light
just package
ones and so
registry
on. Right. Yeah.
package
Yeah.
registry mechanics right there. All right, so
That's just a tree. Yeah.
I will build the package registry, or the agentic registry,
Yeah.
which has the
Okay.
special property that when you query it, you're querying it as a stuck, not just a fucking keyword search. It's like, this is what I'm trying to do. Here's my context.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
And
Okay.
I'll turn over Bootstrap wise with I'm going to continue on Marmot because Marmot's got a real case there of
Mama
stickiness.
is old now. Oh no, you
Oh,
should be good. No, you should be good. Yeah, you should be good. Sorry.
all right,
Yep.
okay,
Yep.
that's
Yep.
cool.
Yep.
I could recreate it, but that would just be
No,
overkill.
I think you're good. The way to check if a machine has been this is
You're
the
not displaying anymore.
yeah, I know, because I got logged out, didn't I? And now I'm logging back in with my
No, you need to do the full facial thing.
yeah, I know. Here we go. So the way to know
Yeah, there it is.
if you go into the exec folder on the computer, these are all the running machines. Now, like Marmot, you had International Marmot.
Yeah.
What you got to check is the I think it's because I fired it up that this is new, but
Or no, because I restored it about 30 minutes ago or whatever.
oh right,
So
okay, well
yeah.
that's all good, because like the way to check is like if you got a new machine, it's the image here. Which image is the machine running? Because if you keep the machine running and I do an upgrade, you'll still stay on the old image until you either get halted from going idle or you purposely crash or shut down the machine. But
And does a refresh work as well to go into the new machine?
you got to actually shut down the old one before the new one comes up. So what you can do is you can brutally, you can go in there and just delete it, and you're like out.
Okay.
And then when you fire up Marmot again, or when any agent tries to talk to Marmot, oh, I think I saw Marmot down here. Rough termite? No.
Well, that's just interesting because I've got Marmot still running here.
Yeah, but it'll. Oh yeah, it is still running. It's just not in. If you hit refresh, that should cause it to rebuild, I think.
Let's find out. Okay, refreshing. Let's see. That's going to take a wee while.
A wee while. What did I do? Did I lose my thingy?
Yeah, it seems a bit stuck here on the busy bar.
Yeah. Give it a second. Give it a second. So what I know, like because there's a lock there, that means that it's currently provisioning. And you see that International Marmot has come back, which means it's being provisioned. So when you see the lock file, that means that the infrastructure agent is working to create a new machine and provision it and all that. It takes about 30 seconds at the moment. I will fix that as soon as I get time to be instant. But yeah, if you ever need to guarantee that the machine gets rebooted, if you delete that file if you delete anything in the exec file and then you hit refresh, it will create a brand new machine for you. And this is the image it will use, which is always the latest one.
Right. Beautiful.
Yeah.
I refreshed on port 10,000.
That's
that
fine
should
too.
Make any difference.
No, it won't make any difference. Any port's fine. Yeah. But yeah, you don't need a port anymore. So just to be clear, you're not going to shed a tear if I strip down that TMUX server so it's no longer on the new machines, right?
No, it's useful booster rocket, but its time is done.
This time is done, and the way you do things now is in this terminal.
You go codec, back to something that looks an awful lot like TMUX, only with extra bells and whistles.
Right, all the bells, all the whistles. Okay, well, mate, that was super helpful to realize that workflows was not the thing to do.
Yeah, and I like this fast tempoed approach we've got, where I basically try and use it the way I think it should. Work.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Talk about it.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, well, I'll get on with that tomorrow then. Right. I can't think what else to do better than that. That seems like the best what's next.
Well, that is the what's next. Interesting enough, just when I was getting a bit jaded, I did ask Marmot what's next, and it came back with pretty good solutions. It's like, yeah, okay, that is what's next. You're right.
Okay, well, that's cool.
The whole what's next thing actually might be easier than I initially thought, because I thought that was like a real stretch goal.
Right, but actually,
yeah, as long as it's got the right context about you and what you're trying to do in this latest Marmot.
Yeah, and we can give it some prompting with the anatomy to go through all the recent conversations, and maybe we can even write it a little script tool that sort of pulls in the latest things in a flash and all that, and then it just reads through what you've been saying, and it's like, yep.
Yeah, and I've yet to get, I don't know about you, I've yet to get below 60% context, and there's a lot.
Oh, that's pretty heavy. I barely break 80, 85%.
Yeah. I'm no longer, I can't know what the term would be, context anxious.
Context poor. All right, I'll stop the recording and I'll upload it.
Yeah, go for it.